Businesses that practice corporate social responsibility aim to improve their communities, the economy, and the environment. What is the exact fact? It's a type of a business self-regulation with the aim of accountability, making a positive impact in the society. There is no one way a company can embrace CSR, but one thing is certain: to be perceived as genuine, the company's practice need to be integrated into the culture and business. Good morning and welcome to the first session in Unit 6 in Management Principles and Practices, where we are going to talk about corporate social responsibility. This is a topic which is very, very interesting. Why? Because over a period of time, all the business houses have been focusing on doing something for the society. It is quite true that I run a business for profit, no doubt about it. Business is not for charity. Business has always stood for profit. But now there is a time where you need to give back to the society. You need to stand for that same society which gave you the platform to establish. You need to stand for that same society that gave you the identity, that gave you the customers, that made you from a normal business to a brand altogether. So this is where the social responsibility is now coming in. Businesses that practice corporate social responsibility aim to improve their communities, the economy, and the environment. Now, this is where you need to understand that wherever we have established, we have created our markets, it is mandatory for us to see that we are doing something for the development of the community. Now, corporate social responsibility is a form of a self-regulation that reflects the business's accountability, commitment to contributing the well-being of the system of the society altogether. Now, for example, let's say that a company like Aditya Birla or Tata Group or the Reliance Group or the Adani Group, when they take up a project like education, healthcare, or for example, women empowerment, or giving people a chance to develop their skills, these are all the opportunities that are being taken up by the organizations in order to make the society go further, reach higher heights altogether. Reason is very simple. Why? Because over a period of time, business houses have understood that it is the empowerment that we provide to the society that can make a better India, that can make a better country altogether. But this is not something that you just keep on earning profits and make your book of accounts look green every time. So this is the right time for business to come back and help the society. Moving further, CSR plays a very crucial role in companies' brand perception, attractiveness to customers and to employees. Tata is not a brand. Tata is not a logo. Tata is not a company. It is an iconic organization that has stood for its principles, for its values, for its thoughts, for its vision. Tata as a company, though it has got multiple disciplines, it's a very, very diversified company altogether, but always the principles that have been followed by the Tata Sons, the holding company of the Tata Group of Industries, have stood for the exemplary behavior, exemplary commitment that they have shown to the society. Every time when Ratan Tata takes up the initiative of empowering the society, people feel so happy about him. In every social media, in every single page of the website, there's always something good written about this great gentleman. Reason is that he understood that unless and until you empower the society, you bring up the society, you develop that system where you have been given the identity, your company does not grow. It is by the people, of the people, and for the people. So when you do something good for the people, automatically people stand by you even in times of difficulties. And that is why I would always say that beyond profitability, if you want to define your business, and that's where CSR comes into picture, the corporate social responsibility altogether. In other words, it is not just about satisfying your stakeholders or shareholders with the great ratios, with the great accounting ratios that you show on the books. It is all about going back and telling to the society that we are here to do something good. We are not here just for money, but we are here to connect with you. We are here to understand you and do something for the betterment of the society. Followed by, in other words, whether it cares about the greater good or only the greater profit. Now, you need to have a balance here. Are you a kind of company which likes only profit, or you're also going to talk about something called as doing good? So now, you have to understand that profit versus responsibility towards society is where this word corporate social responsibility comes into picture. Now, what is the exact fact? It's a type of a business self-regulation with the aim of accountability, making a positive impact in the society. Now, if you look into the entire organization cycle, now you will see that there are resources, there's a sustainability, ethics, market sincerity, long-term, and the goals that we have been talking about for any company. For any organization, the most important thing is the word called sustainability. Why? Because unless and until you sustain for a longer time in the market, unless and until you are able to establish a brand for some time in the market, nobody is going to make you understand about it. Nobody is going to stand by you, or nobody is going to just respect you because you're the most profitable company. People are going to respect you. People are going to give you an identity. They are going to understand you when you start promoting equality, when you start promoting diversity, when you start giving that respect back to the society and to its employees. Now today, when you talk about Indian Railways, or when you talk about any other governmental service, they've all been in the mind of people. Why? Because they are not just into the world of transportation alone, rather than the business of transportation. But Indian Railways has been known for the factor that they have helped people so many times in terms of giving them food, water supply, so many other things. So what happens is that for people, Indian Railways is not just a brand or a logo or something that just passes on. It is something that is close to their heart, because they recognize that this governmental organization has been running for people since about 157 years. So it's really something which is very, very proud to talk about. A moment of pride, I would say, that when you are doing something good for the society. Followed by the voluntary choices that we are talking about, where we talk about at the regional level or the national level or at the international level. The people ask, where exactly should I start the CSR activity? Should I start it at my company itself, at the head office, at the regional office, or at the branch office? The answer to this is even more simple, I would say. You don't need to find a place, a district to do something. All you need to find yourself is the mindset. If you believe that you have the right mindset to associate with people and take it forward, then automatically CSR has started beginning. Now, when you look around you in the society, you might feel that there are several things that are going on which needs to be corrected or which needs to be improved. Now, this is the opportunity. If you think that you can cash upon, you can really come inside and help the society, then automatically you have started doing CSR at your very own level. Now, many people think that unless and until the CSR activity is published, it is known worldwide, people come and clap hands for you, or probably you become a page 3 news altogether. But definitely not. That is not what CSR exactly expects from you. What does CSR mean to you is that moment you get into the society trying to help people, trying to tell where exactly we can do things better, then automatically we are doing something called as the corporate social responsibility. We are trying to build a responsible system and a society altogether. Now, the most important thing is that the idea of doing good into their business models. Now, that is very, very important. Now, whenever you are doing something, let's say Havells, for example, Havells as a company which is one of the leading organizations in the field of hardware, that is electrical equipment manufacturer. has always been very keen upon bringing in something good for the society. They've always understood that they need to make their product even more friendly, that is customer friendly, and it should be safe enough. So in most of their advertisements, you will see that Havells has always tried to bring in some of the good qualities through which people can remain shock-proof, people can be, taken away from the fire that happens through the electrical outburst. So somewhere down the lane, they have included that good factor into the business. That makes the people even more interesting to go and buy the brand. Why? Because Havells is taking a step forward. It wants to ensure the wellness of the customer. It is not about just profit. Havells could have just sold their product at 50, 100 or 200 rupees, whatever is the price that is shown. But what does Havells want through their advertisement is that they want to tell people very, very clearly that this is something which is very, very eco-friendly. This is something which is providing you a complete safety, and this is something that is good for the society. So at every time when you get into the ideology of corporate social responsibility, you need to be 100% sure that your goods are spelling something good for the system. If there is no good factor, if there is no hidden factor inside, then automatically you might not be recognized by the system. Followed by, there is no one way a company can embrace CSR, but one thing is certain: to be perceived as genuine, the company's practice need to be integrated into the culture and business. Now, probably, one proverb that we have learned throughout our life is honesty is the best policy. Now, that applies to the organizations also. Why? Because whenever we talk about this word honesty, this is not something which has to be taught. This is not something that has to be taken as a separate class, but rather this is something which has to get imbibed in your culture, in your tradition, in the business, in every single activity that you do. So for the organization, it is very, very important that whether I am known or not, whether people respect me or not, whether people think that I'm a profitable company, yes or not, whether my name is being, talked in the circles of the share market, yes, I do not know. But definitely I want people to perceive me as the most transparent, integrated, and an honest company altogether. I don't want people to think twice about me. I don't want people to have even the slightest doubt of a negative shade over me. I don't want companies to come back and ask me this question: we know how you manipulate your book of accounts. We know how you manipulate with your human resources. We know how you manipulate with your customers, with your suppliers. No, I don't want this comment at all. So CSR tells it very, very clearly. Even before you start contributing to the society, even before you get into the action, embrace the quality of honesty. Embrace the quality of transparency. Embrace the quality of being identified as the clean slate company. Now that's where you will make a difference to the society. You don't have to do good by showing things, but you can become good, stand as an example, and that itself, you have done a great job. You have shown people what responsibility exactly means. Followed by, in today's socially conscious environment, employees and customers place a premium on working and spending their money on business. That's quite true. Every single organization in this world spend hundreds and thousands of rupees on their employees, on the products and standards, in order to go back and tell the world that yes, we are doing something unique, we are doing something better than what is expected. At the end of the day, I would like to go back and ask this question: if you are doing so much for the upliftment of the company and your employees, but if you're not able to maintain the standards, if you're not able to give me a clear picture about your company, then you don't stand anywhere. Recently, in the papers, if you have been studying, there has been a case about Bharat Pay CEO and all the mismanagement that has gone through the company. Now, what happens is that one side, when we are talking about a fintech revolution, a financial technology revolution, that's coming up everywhere. Starting up from Google Pay to Phone Pay to Paytm to MobiKwik to eBixCash to probably every single kind of payment system that has been available in your mobile. On the other side, when you see these kind of new startups getting into controversies, getting into shady events altogether, then people lose trust. What is more important for you is not just profit, it is perfection. Do you stand as a company that could be taken as an example for other corporates to follow? That's what you need to do in terms of building up your CSR. Followed by, there are many reasons for a company to embrace CSR practices. At the end of the day, you would definitely ask me, why should I even practice the CSR? What really makes a difference out of it? Now, that's the answer here coming up. The first thing is that it improves the customer's perception about the brand. Now, when you look into brands like Dettol, Lifebuoy, or probably Vicks, these are all the brands that have been standing for a very long time in the minds of the customer without any doubt. What are they? These are not some very, very great products. These are not something like a magical story altogether. These are all simple products which come in every man's life. But why these products have stood so long in the memory is because of the CSR, of the product quality and the promotion that they have done. They've always stood for something good in the society. Now, when you look into Tata Salt, for example, the brand advertisement, and when they say Desh ka Namak, so when they say it is the salt of the nation, they are trying to bring in that patriotism. They are trying to bring that oneness among the customers. The ideology of corporate social responsibility is to bring people together, bring the society as one. Not to differentiate, not to create any kind of difference of opinions, but to make the society feel integrated. So that's why I would always say that CSR's first success is all about understanding that the customers are completely convinced about buying the product. People should not even think further why that product. People should rather ask you this question, why not? Because that is how you start developing the concept of CSR. Followed by, what public thinks about your company is critical to your success. That's what Kate Smith, once the founder and the lead designer of Passion Lily, had told her. Why? Because by building a positive image you believe in, you can make a name for your company as being socially conscious. So every time, please go back, ask this question in your mind. Is the customers happy with your product? Are the customers able to identify your product for anything that is good? So that's where it becomes a very, very important concept. Followed by, to stand out among the competition, your company needs to prove that to the public it is a force for the good. So advocating and raising awareness for social important causes will actually make your company go further, will actually make you stay at the top of the mind always. Followed by, the second thing, it attracts and retains employee. Very much needed. Why? Because customers are not only the people whom you need to keep happy. There are also employees who have spent years of their life in terms of building the organization. So at any given point of time, I would always say that the diversity, the inclusion factor have to be there. It has to be given the priority. So that's why I say Susan Cooney, who was the head of the global diversity and inclusion at the Symantec company, one of the professional IT companies looking into the cybersecurity, said that sustainability strategy is a very big factor where the top talent chooses to work. Now, you want the right kind of people to join your organization. That means to say that you have to show people sustainability. You have to tell people why it is important to be a part of this great leading organization. So when people talk about a Microsoft or Google or Yahoo, or probably people talk about great companies like IBM or Walmart, the reason is that there is some sustainability factor. There is something that they have done for their employees which speaks in volume. So that is why it maintains, it goes to that level of attracting and retaining the employee. Followed by, the next generation employee is seeking out employers that are focused on the triple bottom, that is People, planet, and revenue. Look at these three words very, very clearly. People, planet, and revenue. These are the three words that you need to focus. It is not just about profit, profitability, and revenue, but it is people, planet, and revenue. So that's what makes a difference here. So coming out of a recession, corporate revenue has getting into a stronger role altogether. Companies are encouraging people in terms of the increased participation also. So recently in the Deloitte and Touche 2021's Millennial and the General Z survey, which took place, where the modern workforce prioritizes culture, diversity, and a high impact over the financial benefits. So that's where I would always say that if a company is really good in cultural diversity, in the inclusion factors, it is going to go up. An estimated of 44% of the millennials and 49% of the Generation Z rely upon the personal ethics before joining any kind of work that's available. So definitely, if your company is ethical, it's able to do well, people are going to join your organization. Followed by the responders of the Porter Novelli, which I would also say one of the important tracker in the year 2021 report, go even further with saying that 70% of the people would not work for a company without a strong purpose. So if you just believe that I'm going to pay your salary, you need to be a part of the organization, and that's good enough reason for you to continue the job, I'm sorry. Why? Because most of the employees feel these days that unless and until the company has got a strong purpose of existence, I don't want to be a part of that company. Now, it increases the appeal to your investors, very, very important, by demonstrating a CSR program and the initiative purpose. Your company is bound to become more appealing, which means to say that that is the point of attraction for hundreds and thousands of people looking at you in the market. Followed by the influential 2021 giving in numbers report show that investors are playing a key role in terms of going up with the corporate social responsibility. Followed by 80% of the survey also show that they are open enough with providing data considering the perspectives on sustainability, how sustainable you are, how good are you doing in the market. Like most of the customers, the investors are also holding the business accountable for each and every activity that they are doing. Followed by building a socially responsible business. Now, we always need to understand that one side, when you are building a business, there is a lot of challenges that are going to come in. And, most of the small companies, since due to the lack of finance, they have their own efforts, they have their own significant impact in terms of coming up. And sometimes they feel that, we are not able to come up to the mark. Even 5%, though it might not sound a lot, can add up and make a difference. That's what Smith says in his analysis, where he says that even when we start donating $1 towards a particular commitment, towards a particular project, that is enough for you. Why? Because that becomes a habit, that becomes a culture, then it starts spreading rapidly. It develops over a period of time. It's not mandatory that I have to donate $1 million. You can even start with $1 and make it to $1 million in the coming years. Now, when identifying and launching a CSR initiative, involve your employees in the decision process. Why? Because the employee should be convinced thoroughly, saying that, yes, we also want to be a part of this. We also understand the importance of it. So 100% once they are involved, they are convinced about this activity, automatically the CSR will be even more powerful. Followed by, you will increase the engagement and success when you start contributing with your entire team, with your employees, and involving them will definitely make this even more enriching experience. Now, with this, I come to the end of today's session. I hope and believe that all the resources that have been shared through this presentation will be of a great help and resource to you. Now, both in terms of theory as well as in terms of practical. In the upcoming classes, we are going to talk about a very important and an interesting concept known as the green management. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.